The sound hit me first, a sickening crack as the laptop's case split from the heat. My lungs seized mid-breath as my daughter's prized possession warped in the flames. Around the fire pit, shadows danced across smirking faces. My sister Diane leaning forward in her lawn chair, my parents nodding in approval, her children pointing and giggling as if they'd won a carnival game. My fingers curled into my palms, so tightly I could feel the half-moon imprints forming. The metallic taste of adrenaline flooded my mouth as the screen blackened and bubbled. I felt every muscle in my body coiling like a spring, but I remained perfectly still. "Maybe this will teach her not to be so spoiled," Diane announced, her voice carrying across our parents' backyard as she reclined in satisfaction. That's when I did something that made them all freeze. I smiled, not the tight, pained smile of someone holding back tears, but the calm, knowing smile of someone who has finally seen everything clearly. The laughter died. The crackling fire suddenly seemed deafening in the silence. "My name is Rachel. I'm 39 and a hospital administrator. This is the story of how I burned down the bridges that were drowning me. We hadn't always been enemies. Growing up, Diane and I shared everything. Clothes, secrets, the bottom bunk during thunderstorms when lightning made the windows rattle. 3 years older, she blazed trails I eagerly followed, her fearlessness making me braver by association. I thought that bond was unbreakable. The change happened so gradually I almost missed it. Little comments that left splinters under my skin. "Mom's so generous giving you that dress. I guess she knows you can't afford nice things on your salary." Each barb subtle enough that confronting it would make me seem oversensitive. When I married Oliver, she pulled him aside at the reception. I overheard her whisper, "She falls apart easily. You'll need patience." When we bought our house, the one I'd saved for through 3 promotions, she walked through each room with pursed lips before announcing, "Cute little starter home. You'll upgrade eventually, I'm sure." But it was my daughter Lily's birth that transformed Diane's jealousy into something toxic. She lavished her own children with excess while scrutinizing every gift I gave mine. When Lily excelled in school, Diane dismissed her achievements as teacher's pet syndrome. When Lily struggled, it was because Rachel never taught her discipline. The laptop wasn't extravagance, it was necessity. Lily had shown remarkable talent for digital design, creating projects that impressed even her high school teachers. Her old computer wheezed and crashed, losing her work. So I picked up extra weekend shifts, declined lunch invitations, tracked every expense for 6 months until I had the $2,100. The night I brought it home, Lily's eyes widened in disbelief. She threw her arms around me so forcefully I staggered backward. "Mom," she whispered against my shoulder, "I'll make something amazing with this. I promise." And she had, until tonight. Until my sister's children, Jake and Zoe, dragged it from Lily's backpack while she was helping my mother in the kitchen. Until they carried it, laughing, to the fire pit where the adults were gathered. Until my father actually nodded his permission before they tossed it in. I didn't scream. I didn't lunge for it. I felt Lily freeze beside me, her body trembling as she watched months of her work disintegrate. The weight of silence grew heavier than any shout could have been. My father shifted uncomfortably in his chair. My mother's smile faltered. Diane's smirk began to waver at the edges. I leaned forward slightly, my voice steady and clear despite the furnace building in my chest. "Do you know what I cut from my life to afford that? Do you understand what I sacrificed while you maxed out credit cards for weekend getaways? I gave my daughter something she earned." I turned to Jake and Zoe, their faces now uncertain in the firelight. "And you two, did destroying something feel good? Something you'd never have the discipline to work for yourselves?" Their grins vanished. Diane's neck flushed red as it always did before an outburst. "Oh, come on," she scoffed, waving her hand dismissively. "It's just a computer. She'll live." I maintained my smile, the same one that had silenced the yard moments earlier. "You're right. She'll live." I stood up, taking Lily's hand. "But what about you?" Revenge didn't erupt that night in a volcanic display of rage. It arrived the next morning, methodical and precise like surgical cuts. After driving Lily and myself home in complete silence, I had tucked her into bed and promised her that things would change. First, I called the bank. 3 years earlier, my parents had made me co-signer on a loan they'd taken for medical expenses. They assumed I'd forgotten. I hadn't. I notified the bank I was withdrawing my guarantee, effective immediately. Their safety net disappeared with a single phone call. Next came Diane. For years, I'd been her emergency fund, her babysitter, her emotional support system. She leaned on me while pretending she was doing me favors. I opened our family group chat and typed with deliberate precision. Effective today, I am unavailable for financial assistance, childcare, or crisis management. Make other arrangements. I hit send and silence notifications. But I wasn't finished. Jake and Zoe maintained public social media accounts brimming with evidence of their character. Screenshots bragging about cheating on exams, videos shoplifting from mall stores, messages mocking classmates with learning disabilities. Their mother had either ignored it or remained willfully blind. I'd seen their posts appear in my feed for months as we were connected on multiple platforms despite our strained relationship. I didn't fabricate anything. I simply compiled their public posts, organizing them by category: academic dishonesty, theft, bullying. I created a comprehensive document. I sent it first to their school counselor, then the principal, expressing concern as a family member. By Friday, Diane was receiving calls from administrators, teachers, and eventually the local police regarding a shoplifting incident they'd recorded and posted with their faces clearly visible. The confrontation arrived precisely when I expected, 14 days later, the exact amount of time it would take for the school board to review the evidence and the police to process the shoplifting report. My doorbell rang repeatedly, angry fists pounding between chimes. I opened the door to find Diane, mascara streaked down her cheeks, hair disheveled. "You vindictive bitch!" she shouted, pushing past me into the entryway. "You've ruined my children's lives." I closed the door calmly, turning to face her. No, they documented ruining their own lives. I just refused to pretend I hadn't seen it. She advanced toward me, finger jabbing the air inches from my face. "You think you're so much better than me? The perfect mother with her perfect little prodigy?" I didn't step back. Instead, I moved closer, lowering my voice until it was barely audible. "No, Diane. I just stopped letting you drag us down with you." I maintained eye contact as her expression shifted from rage to something else. Recognition. Everyone can finally see who you really are. Her mouth opened, then closed. For the first time in 20 years, my sister had nothing to say. "The school board suspended Jake and Zoe for 2 weeks, she finally whispered, "and the store is pressing charges for shoplifting. You did this. It could only have been you." "Their actions did this," I replied. "I simply made sure the right people saw them." She left without another word, and I haven't spoken to her since that day. My parents called a week later, desperate about their loan situation, but I remained firm. The bridge was burned, and I had no intention of rebuilding it. That evening, Lily sat at her desk, fingers flying across the keyboard of her new laptop. Faster, better, with more storage. Purchased with money freed by cutting off the financial drains I'd allowed for too long. Oliver had fully supported my decision after seeing how devastated Lily had been, and he helped me select an even better computer model than the one that was destroyed. She paused her work, turning toward me as I brought her a mug of tea. "Mom? Was it worth losing them?" I placed my hand over hers, feeling the strength in her fingers. "Yes, because now you understand something important. Justice doesn't always announce itself with screams and tears." I smiled at her, the same smile I'd worn as the flames consumed her computer. Sometimes it just smiles and waits. And that smile, the one that had finally shown my family who I really was, became the period at the end of a sentence I should have finished years ago. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.